So first things first, why nutrition? Okay, a lot of people have their goals, and it is what it is. I'm obviously realistic. Your goal, some people's goals is to look better, feel better, and all that stuff, and that's all well and good. But we have to think about what is the point of food. Like, why are we consuming, what we're consuming on a daily basis? Okay, the whole theme. There's a saying that goes, "You are what you eat," and it's really, really true. All right. So the first and foremost, number one, our food is our fuel. So it makes us perform whatever daily task we're trying to complete, whether it be a very intense bout of CrossFit, whether it be just sitting down at a desk and listening and doing what you're doing right now, brain function, things like that. Right? So the food that you eat gets broken down, gets broken down and is utilized to create energy so that you can do certain things, digestion, heart rate, exercise, whatever the case may be. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is to avoid disease. I've scared you guys enough and spoke to you guys in the past about the negative effects of a poor diet. All right, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, all the list goes on and on. I can sit here, forms of cancer. We could talk all day about it. But just so you know, you are what you eat. If you eat a shitty diet, you are going to live a shitty life. If you eat a good diet, you will live a good life. All right, sorry to use curse words. Probably won't end up using this YouTube video anyways. So I'm trying to choose one video to post on YouTube so that I can get it out. And 6 a.m. was a bust, and then this 8:30 was, it was good. And then we had a conversation, and then now this one I'm cursing, so this was probably not going to be used either. But anyways, I'm gonna edit it. I'm just gonna keep going back and forth. All right, so that's that. If you want to know the whys and all that stuff, always come see me, always come talk to me. We can have that conversation. I will talk to you until you are bored with me and say, "Ralph, shut up, I'm doing it." All right? Or if you're really interested, we can talk about it. Our nutrition challenge. We have a 3-step approach as far as how we're going to attack what we're eating on a daily basis. All right? We have different levels. Okay? You can't go to level 3 until you start with level 1. Some of us have done paleo before. Some of us have done nutrition challenges before. So we take that and we've evolved into a 3-step process. So let's review all of them now. The first step is quality. Okay? It used to be paleo or whatever. Level 1 is going to be quality. We're looking for good quality food. Paleo is a good way to start to going back to eating real nutrient-dense foods. Okay? So you have meat and vegetables. Well, I like to abbreviate them, a meathead or everything else. Meat, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch. Okay, and I'm gonna send you guys a good food, bad food list of all the foods that are considered paleo and all the foods that are not considered paleo. Okay, and again, if you have questions, I'm really easy to reach. Okay, text message works best. You guys have my cell phone number. You guys can do that. We're going to avoid sugar and processed foods. That's rule number 1. Okay. Then the next step, we're going to take out grains, dairy, and legumes. Okay. And the reason for this, we're taking out grains, dairy, and legumes because we found a lot of research has enough support to say that these 3 forms of nutrition will cause some form of disease, obesity, type 2 diabetes, so on and so on. And again, if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that at a later time. Protein, okay? So the only thing here, we're going to talk about quantity really in depth here, but we're going to start to eyeball things, okay? You're going to start to eyeball what you eat on a daily basis. The first thing I want to do is protein. I found that a lot of people are under-eating protein, and I think it's important to start to consider where we're getting our protein from and how much protein we're getting per meal. I did somebody's food log and they're eating carbon, fat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, no protein whatsoever. Protein is a good source of
So what was this person, just curious, eating for like breakfast that was carbon fat?
They were having oatmeal, they were having, what you call it? So we want to eat protein because it makes us feel full. It's going to fill our stomachs better than other slower processing macronutrients. There's a positive hormonal effect. All right, and also cellular repair. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Food is fuel. When it gets broken down, protein helps rebuild and grows cells. So we want to make sure we're eating an adequate amount. Now, there's an argument going around. This is a general rule of thumb. It's not Bible. It's not like this is what you have to eat. General rule of thumb: if you weigh 100 pounds or 200 pounds, you're going to eat 200 grams of protein per day. Okay, we can go even deeper than that, and which we're going to do in the next one, and consider our lean body tissue to support our protein intake. Okay, so general rule of thumb, we want to try to get that amount of protein a day. I have 4 eggs in the morning, so 7 times 4 is about 28. So that's 28 grams in my breakfast. I'll have a whole bunch of pieces of chicken later on. It is a lot of protein. It seems like a lot, but the point is we want to try to up our protein intake because we're going to start to decrease our carbohydrate consumption. Our carbohydrates, we as a society are over-consuming carbohydrates. So we want to limit our carbohydrates consumption, especially if you're trying to lower your body fat, which I'll explain in the next levels. Now, don't get me wrong, this is an Atkins. We're not trying to totally remove your carbohydrates from your diet. We want to reach a goal, and carbohydrates creates the opposite effect of proteins hormonally. So what it does is it takes things and puts it into cells. So we want to take glucose, we want to put it into our cells so we have that stored energy. But if there's an excess amount of carbohydrates, it doesn't get stored as glucose, it gets stored as fats. So that's why we want to limit our carbohydrate consumption. All right? So we'll talk about that in a second. But pretty much try to base your diet around that protein and then healthy fats and healthy carbohydrates from the good food. And we're going to get our protein from a little starch and vegetables. Okay?
So
I'm sorry, not protein, carbohydrates.
So I've been doing step 2, but I find
You've been doing step 2, yes. So this is where, what works for Lori may not work for Mark, which may not work for me. Everybody's nutrition plan is individualized.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're all having success, because if I realistically say, which we did in the past, everybody's doing this,
yes.
nobody makes it.
Right.
Okay, so, but that's why I say we start here, then we start to experiment, which I'll explain in phase 2. We're gonna get there in 2 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. H2O, sleep, and water is going to be the same across the board. You need to drink half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, 200 pounds, you're drinking 100 ounces of water per day. It is a lot of water, especially some of us that are new that really haven't been involved in the challenge. I think I've instilled this upon a lot of the members that have been here for a couple of years. But water is very, very important. So try to get your water as soon as you wake up. I always drink my water. I always have like about 12 to 16 ounces upon waking up. So as soon as you wake up, chug down water. I personally like it cold, so I leave it in the fridge overnight and I drink it. Some people like it warm. Okay, there's studies out there that goes crazy about that, but we don't need to talk about that. Just drink water upon awakening, and then try to drink your water earlier in the day. Okay, if you find yourself in a CrossFit workout and you're sipping on your water, you're either A, taking an unneeded break, or B, you are dehydrated. Okay, so when I exercise, if it's 20 minutes plus, sometimes I'll sip on water, but if it's 5 to 15 minutes without, I'll never sip on water, because unless my mouth is dry, then I know I'm not dehydrated. Okay, so that's water. Sleep 7 hours. Okay, this is very important. Sleep. When you sleep, there's a hormonal response that happens during a session of deep REM sleep. Growth, repair. You break down muscle tissue on a daily basis. You beat yourself up during the day, daily tasks. Not even necessarily just CrossFit, just regular old life, stress, things like that. It all gets better if you get a good night's sleep. Okay, that also, if you're not sleeping well, that will also help make you gain weight. Feel tired, feel lethargic, whatever, all that stuff. So sleep is important. We want 7 hours. 6 hours or less, we're not getting enough. 7 hours, 8 hours, that's good. Now it goes even further than that. You should be sleeping every hour that you exercise. Some of these CrossFit Games competitors, they'll take a nap throughout the day. If they're doing 2 or 3 exercises in a day, they'll sleep about 10, 11 hours. If they're competing for a sport or competing for fitness, it's a different story. But what we're doing on the challenge is a minimum of 7 hours of sleep. Okay, and then workouts. We're gonna exercise, okay? We're gonna be doing points. So you're gonna get 1 point for food, 1 point for water, 1 point for sleep, 1 point for workouts. You're gonna
We are
be
doing points?
yes. I found that the last time, even myself, I was having trouble keeping on track on the nutrition challenge. With the points you point yourself every day, it'll be a little bit easier to do that. Okay? So you're limited to 5 points per week. 7 days of working out is not healthy. You need to take rest days. Okay? So you are going to take 2 days of rest, Patty. Don't worry, you're not the only one. Okay? So that's that. So everything's the same, okay? Water, sleep, and workout. The only thing that's different is the nutrition. So food, you're gonna choose a category, either from 1, 2, or 3. So step 1 is paleo only. Step 2 is quality plus. Okay, so this is and you must go through the levels, this way, all the way out. Okay, and then it gets even closer than that. So step 2. Now we're still gonna stick to the no sugar, no processed. Okay, someone was talking about a paleo bar that's considered processed. You have to see what's inside that. It's better than eating a Nature Valley bar. It's better than eating a Kill Cliff. Not Kill Cliff. What are those? Cliff bars. But Kill Cliffs are awesome. Plug right there. That's going on. Kill Cliff sponsors this. But no. Oh, was that? Yeah, I should
Crack it open.
So what should you look for, like when you're getting a protein bar?
Protein bar? Okay, so you gotta look at...
Yeah, that it shouldn't have in it.
So look at the ingredients.
Yeah.
Just double check. It is what it is. So you're getting... So some have, almonds, whatever nuts. And then they'll have some kind of protein, like a whey protein in there or whatever. But then you gotta look and if it has like added like sucralose or like down list of
Things you
ingredients
can't pronounce.
yeah, that don't make sense. When it got sent to me, like that bar that was up there, that's crap.
Yeah.
I wouldn't eat that.
Yeah.
Who brought that in, Brandon?
I think Rob Malarkey won it in his competition, and Rob's smart. He's not gonna do it. So, yeah, I wouldn't eat that. And that pump, that thing back there. We're actually gonna talk about supplements in a second, but that just had beta-alanine, creatine, and caffeine in it. That's exactly what I need when I do workout. So I've actually used pump because. I mean, it has a little bit of sucralose in it, which is I can deal with, but it's, like you have to look at the ingredients. You can't just look at the nutrition facts. This has.
Make your own.
Okay, I mean, but then that's tedious. So you just gotta look. They have these natural stores where they make it, but you don't know how they're making it. That's the problem.
Yeah. So my question is on the quality plus, because that's where I am right now. So reintroducing different foods that you see, I definitely see a change how my body reacts to it. Right?
Okay.
Some are positive, some are negative.
Okay.
But I also see weight gain with that as well.
Okay. So now this is where we're gonna get a little crazy. All right. So now Lori was at a point where she's introducing grains, introducing dairy, introducing legumes. She doesn't respond well to X. She responds well to Y. So we're gonna keep Y. We're gonna delete X. All right. And how do you know? There's a couple of things. One, body composition. Did my body composition change? Did I gain body fat, or did I lose body fat? Continue to lose body fat on track. All right. So positives and negatives. Also, the bathroom will tell you all. Okay. If it's solid, you're good to go. If it's liquid, no bueno. All right. And I'm talking about number 2. I'm not talking about number 1. And honestly, yeah, as silly as it is, but we have to talk about it. You have to check what's going on down there. If the plumbing's not good, okay, even on the other side. If it's clear or like a light yellow, then your pee is good, you're hydrated, you're good to go. If it's yellow or like a dark brown Coca-Cola, we'll call a hospital, but really it's dark, you're dehydrated. Okay, so you gotta take that'll give you a lot of information. And with all that said, this is an experiment, and like I said in the past, I wish it were easy. I wish I could say, don't worry about all this stuff, just take this magic pill and you're good to go, you'll be healthy and all that stuff. But you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort now, spend 2 years doing your self-examination and figuring out what works for you. Okay? So we're reintroducing food now with Lori. Okay, you say you still have weight gain. So now we got to talk about portions. So how much carbohydrates what carbohydrates can we tolerate that we can keep in, and at what